Hey everybody, Nate Carter here with today's Cornerstone Connection Daily Devotional. This Sunday, I'm preaching from 1 Samuel chapters 18 through 23, and it comes immediately after David has had this triumphant victory over Goliath. And after what would seem like something that pushes him into a lifetime of success and notoriety, we find that David is immediately actually taken somewhere quite different, into the wilderness. And into a place where he will be tested, his faith will be tested over and over again, to see if he's able to follow God. And I learned a bunch of things as I was studying for this message, and one of the most important lessons to learn is that when you find yourself in the wilderness, when you find yourself in the place where life is just a struggle to get by, that's not a sign that God doesn't love you. In fact, it can be the sign of the exact opposite. It can be the sign that God has taken a special notice of you and is working on you. Now, that doesn't make it any easier. In fact, it's extremely painful. But in the midst of the wilderness, David pens this beautiful psalm, Psalm 57, and he's just run away from Saul, King Saul, who's pursuing him, trying to kill him, and he's in this cave. And in Psalm 57, David cries out to the Lord, and he says, "Have mercy on me, O God, have mercy on me, for in you I take refuge. I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster is past. I cry out to God Most High, to God who vindicates me. He sends from heaven and saves me, rebuking those who hotly pursue me. God sends forth his love and his faithfulness." David begins this psalm by acknowledging who God is and God's capacity to have mercy on him and to be able to save him. And he claims in advance that God is loving and he's faithful. He reminds himself of the character of who God is. But he pulls no punches. He calls it like it is. In verse 4, "I am in the midst of lions. I'm forced to dwell among ravenous beasts, men whose teeth are spears and arrows, whose tongues are sharp swords." It's important when we're in those times of struggling that we are honest with God. We don't try to sugarcoat it. I don't think there's anything healthy at all about claiming that things are better than they are, but rather to express to God just directly to him. He can handle it. Express to him what your experience is and to cry out to him for it. But then David turns right around in verse 5 and he says, "Be exalted, O God, above the heavens." Remember, David's sitting in a cave. There's like no logical hope for him. And yet he keeps his eyes fixed on God and praises him in the midst of the cave. "Be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth. They spread a net for my feet. I was bowed down in distress. They dug a pit in my path, but they have fallen into it themselves." David's claiming God's victory before it's even happened. "My heart, O God, is steadfast. My heart is steadfast. I will sing and make music. Awake, my soul. Awake, harp and lyre. I will awaken the dawn. I will praise you, Lord, among the nations. I will sing of you among the peoples. For great is your love, reaching to the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the skies. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth." And I think the final lesson that we can learn from David here is that in the midst of your sorrow, in the midst of your pain, in the midst of your struggle, in the midst of injustice or unfairness, in sickness, continue to come before the Lord and worship. Because even though our world is broken, it's broken because of our own sinfulness. God is still holy and he is still good, and he still invites us into relationship with him. And I know that you will find healing as you enter into continual worship of him, and not neglect that regular practice of lifting up the name of our Lord and the name of his son Jesus. So let me encourage you, if you are in that place right now, perhaps you're in your own cave, running away from your own attacker of whoever it may be or whatever it may be, to not neglect the opportunity to continually worship your God, and he will see you through. Be encouraged by that, my friends. We'll see you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.